everyone, welcome to New Bear. Today we're going to look at Clunies. I love Clunies. They give a completely different structure to our work. Their 3D aspect adds so much interest and texture to our tatting. Clunies are very versatile. They can be used as a bridge connecting two elements, as a decorative filler, or both. They add a beautiful design feature to our work while being functional at the same time. We have two main types of Cluny, the regular Cluny and the hanging Cluny. For a regular Cluny, both threads finish on the opposite side to where we started, and this means that our Cluny is anchored at both the base and at the top. For a hanging Cluny, both our threads finish back at the original starting point, meaning our Cluny is only anchored down here at the base. There can be many variations to these two main categories, which can include beaded Clunies, 2 and 3 coloured Clunies, multiple warp Clunies, but today we're going to make our regular Cluny. Technically, Clunies are woven, not tatted. Now bear with me here, I am heading off on a bit of a tangent, but I believe having an understanding of the weaving process definitely helps when it comes to making our Clunies. So any kind of weaving requires a loom, two separate threads known as the warp and the weft, and some kind of a shuttle. I'm just using a needle for this demonstration. So a loom is a structure that is used to give our weave support and tension as we work. The warp thread is wrapped vertically around the loom and stays in place throughout the weaving process. This is known as warping the loom. The weft thread is the one we weave back and forth horizontally through the warp, creating our tapestry or our fabric, or as we're going to do in a moment, our Cluny. We can use our hand as a loom, but I really don't find this comfortable, especially if I'm making a few of them. There's a lot of tension in the back of your hand. I tend to get cramping. I'm also really bad at making hand Clunies, but some tatters prefer the hand loom, so I will show you how to set this up at the end of the video. Now I'm very fortunate to have an awesome dad who just happens to be rather handy in the workshop. I asked him for a simple loom. I even suggested a block of pine with nails or some pieces of dowel hammered in, but clearly Dad doesn't do simple. I received this hand-turned loom made from fiddleback red stringy bark, which is an Australian native hardwood. Now I absolutely love my loom, but not everyone is lucky enough to have something like this. Looms can be made out of a variety of materials. It doesn't need to be elaborate. It can be 3 pieces of dowel in a pine block. I've seen looms made out of Lego. They can be made from firm pieces of plastic or cardstock. It just needs to be something that has a minimum of 3 pegs to secure your thread and hold everything steady as you work. The number of pegs relates to the number of warp threads that you can have. So you need at least 3 to be able to weave. The more warp threads you have, the wider your Cluny is going to be. To make a Cluny, you can use a shuttle and ball thread or 2 shuttles. It doesn't matter. I like to use a plain shuttle to weave. I find shuttles with hooks or picks can get caught on the warp threads. Clunies look a little mind-boggling, but they aren't hard to make if you follow a process. They do take a bit of practice to get the right shaping, but it's not hard. It is just practice. Holding my last element in the pinch, I'm using shuttle 2 or the ball thread to warp my loom. Shuttle 1 is placed side. Our warp thread wraps around A, across to B, and back into the pinch. Make a loop around our pinky finger, which we'll call C, and back into the pinch. Now up through the middle to D, where we anchor it in place. You can just continually wrap your thread around the post, but I find when we start our weaving, this doesn't tend to hold up very well. So I prefer to secure it using figure 8. Make sure all your warp threads are taut. Your loom should always be under tension. If your warp threads are loose, you'll have a hard time trying to weave your Cluny. Your threads need to be packed down, which I'll talk about in a minute, but you're not going to be able to do that if your warp is loose. Our weaving is done with shuttle 1. To start, we're going to work an unflipped half stitch at the base of our last element. That's going to keep all of our warp threads together. So our shuttle goes over, back underneath. As we come up, pass your shuttle through the loop and snug that right down at the base of your last element. We're ready to start weaving. Our shuttle goes under the first warp thread, over the second, and under the third. And pull that right down. Now we go back the other way. We go over, under, and over. And pull that down. We've just completed one full pass. Across and back is counted as one. To make our second pass, we're going under, over, and under. Pull that through and pack it down. Back again, over, under, and over. Pull through and pack it down. It's important to pull the thread down each time you come through to the other side. This maintains tension in our weave, keeping it consistent and smooth. In tapestries, this is known as beating the weft. So our Clunies might be on a much smaller scale, but the principle is exactly the same. So each time we pass our weft thread through, it needs to be pushed into place to make a neat and even Cluny. If we made a few passes before pushing the weft into place, it's going to be difficult to push it down neatly, and we're not going to get very far before we meet resistance from the thread that's backed up. You're not going to end up with a nice Cluny. While we continue weaving to get the size we need, we also need to think about the shape that we want. Our tension is what's going to give us that shaping. Clunies start with a tip at the base, widen out through the belly, and then taper back into a tip at the top. So to get an even Cluny, break your weaving up into 3 sections: the base, the belly, and the tip. You can either do it by eye, or you can count how many passes you make to complete the base before you start widening out for the belly. Once the belly is done, repeat the count that you had for the base to finish the top. So I finished my base. Now we're starting on the belly. I've just finished the belly of my Cluny. Now I'm going to start adjusting my tension as I'm weaving the top to pull my Cluny into shape. So as I weave, I'm adjusting my tension to pull the opposite side in. Coming out on the left side, if I make a small increase, watch what happens to my warp thread here. If I pull on this now, it only needs to be a little bit. It's just enough to gradually shape my Cluny, which is what I want. I don't want a large increase, or I'll have sharp changes. So by increasing my tension just a little bit, my return pass is going to lock that thread into place. And then I do the same on this side. Increase my tension just a tad. Hold it in place with my return weave. So pulling it in just a little bit each time. To close our Cluny, we start to take our warp threads off the loom. Make sure you have your Cluny held firmly in the pinch. If you don't, all your weaving is going to unravel. Release the thread from its anchor point at D. Place the top loops from pegs A and B so that it's only around one peg. Keeping it on one peg prevents our loop from twisting up as we're closing it. Come down to loop C, the loop that's on our pinky finger, and start to pull. That is going to close our top loop. As the loop becomes smaller, I take it off the peg using my wooden loop holder, again just to stop it from twisting. And close that loop. Once the top loop is completely closed, we pull on our shuttle thread or our ball thread to close our pinky loop. I keep my fingers in this one until it gets a bit closer. And we have our regular Cluny. My hand Clunies are really bad. I find it very difficult to get a nice shape to them, but we'll give it a go. So hold your last element in the pinch. To warp our loom, wrap your thread around all your fingers, over your index finger and back into the pinch. Make a loop and bring that back into the pinch. Take the thread up and anchor it around your middle finger. We have our 3 warp threads. As we did before, take your weaving thread over, under your loom, back through that loop and pull that down to the base of the previous element. You're ready to weave. Now in my attempts to use a hand loom, I found that I need to come up underneath and pull that thread down before I go over to the next side. With my other loom, I can weave straight across and then pull the thread down, but my thumb and index finger are busy holding the loom. So to be able to pack my threads, I need to do it one step at a time. Okay, it's not too bad. To close our Cluny, we do the same as we did before. Make sure you hold your Cluny in the pinch. Let your middle thread go. Get some feeling back in that finger. Take your loop onto one finger. Pull on your bottom loop to close your top loop. then pull on your top thread to close your bottom loop.